Okay, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line. This is episode 94 of the Halls of Arden Vul Mega Dungeon Crawl. Halls of Arden Vul by Richard Barton. We're using a heavily house-ruled version of Old School Essentials by Necrotic Gnome. My name is John. I'm your referee for the evening, and tonight we have...
I am Mike. I am playing 6th level cleric brother Lothar. And then Matt has given me permission to run the Elizabeth the Druid, and I'm going to drive her like I stole her.
I am David. I'm playing Upior, the 5th level wizard.
Matt would normally... sorry, go ahead, Ted.
I was going to say, I'm Ted. I'll be playing my traditional role of Mortis J. Gobliono, 7th level Imperial Goblin, and Barrios the Beast Man.
Cool. And Matt can't make it tonight, so he is dead to us. All right, so it is the 17th of July, so it's about 2:40 p.m. They are in the southern portion of the Fungal Caverns on trying to find out where the back door is that leads out of Arden Vul. They have decided to focus on trying to find that back door and also at the same time sort of retracing the steps of the LRCP that also was known to have retreated into here, at least one of the banda. So currently the party is slightly split, although only vertically. Upior is by himself up on top of a large rock outcropping in the midst of the fungal forest after discovering a very strange hole in the top of that outcropping about 60 feet up that was dug by some sort of creature or race or something like that. And he explored pretty far down that hole and found some interesting items, some of it which was written in a dialect or a debased form of Glyphic, which was the Rudishvan tongue. Found a strange rose that bloomed in darkness and some strange Rudishvan artifacts as well. At the same time, the party itself, at the base of that column, right below Upior, had found a cave entrance that led off to the east, and that is where the path, the Beastman paths led. Lothar was smart enough to actually anticipate that the Beastmen may have left a trap for unwanted visitors and triggered a rock fall without anyone getting hurt. They were able to scramble over that, and not far into that passageway, they saw firelight off in the distance in a cavern. They didn't enter and could hear what sounded like laughing and cavorting going on in that room where the firelight was. So that's where we are right now. We have Elizabeth and Barrios as our two retainers. And I think that is the deal. So yeah, Upior's got his boots of levitation on, which is why he's up there. And is there any other... Actually, I'm going to leave my thing up here. Any other effects? Yes, we have the... Silence is done, but the Bracteros effect is still on, and you should be aware that that is finally actually coming to an end. You only have about 2 turns left on the Bracteros effect on your continual light lockets. Okay.
So,
gentlemen,
we had a vote on the Discord about what to do next, and I'd just like to say democracy is dumb. And I got outvoted.
Can I provide you a tantalizing middle ground that occurred to me, both because of the Bracteros effect and because there's danger ahead?
I could be tantalized.
We know, not to go down the hole, unfortunately, but we know with some confidence that has that's like a safe secret space. Would you guys be interested in resting in that space before proceeding into our exit pursuit?
What's the purpose of resting, just out of curiosity?
I mean, I would get a whole new set of spells. I would level up. But
actually,
beyond that, because I forgot, it didn't even occur to me until like an hour ago. I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Barrios would level up if he were to
Barrios
rest.
Level up, and beyond that, Elizabeth would get any spells they got back. Dolphin, Now,
right.
Beyond that, I also just think we can adapt to what we think is going on with the room we actually want to pursue. But if you guys don't want to do it, I'm still loaded up with other spells. We can go for it. But
it's tempting.
I'm actually open to the idea. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Up to you. Yeah.
But So you're saying we would all climb up the thing, rest in this sort of very hidden hole, and then leave and go look for the exit as originally planned, not explore further down the hole.
No. Same plan. All I'm saying is it occurred to me that is a very secure resting place. And so if we wanted to make a rest, we could. If we don't, I still have spells, right?
Yeah.
It's not mission critical. We're not hurt, etc. I was just throwing it out there in case anyone needed it.
Here's my only concern. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Who was talking? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was thinking. Go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say is like, it's a great resting place for people with boots of levitation who can make a quick escape. It might not be a great place for us to rest if we have to climb like 50 feet up a rope to get away.
Well, okay.
Yeah, this is kind of where I was thinking, because like we might be able to rest with the Beastman. So go ahead, David.
I think for the sake of simplicity, we should just move on. What I will say is it was very, very, very clear that no one had been in here. Time soon. Right. So I don't think like someone discuss in other words, I don't think there's an escape that's going to be necessary. But rather than get into a whole conversation about it, why don't we just pursue our current?
Yeah, let's just go ahead. Let's move forward.
Let's do it.
Who needs levels anyway?
I don't.
Levels.
Puh.
Okay. So you have to descend then?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Are you still going to cease your levitation at this point?
I will descend to ground level. I'm going to ask what the ceiling height is when we get into the next tunnels, but I think mostly I will be probably So I'll just cease my levitation, walk in the back of the line as a mage should.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So we're going to climb over the rocks as a party, go into the tunnel where the Beastman spear with the baboon head on it is, and then assess. There's 2 corridors out. It's the northeastern one where we heard the laughter, John.
Let me check this. I'm actually checking right now.
Okay.
And if they're willing to do 1 trap, guys, they're willing to do 4. So
very, very true.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's you guys have not entered into the larger portion there. You've only kind of gone into that
just the entry tunnel.
Just the entry, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oh no, I'm not right about that actually. Yeah, in the larger area there, you saw in the northwestern corner there was that broken spear haft that had a decomposing baboon head on it as a warning, is what Barrios told you. And then there is a very, very narrow, like very cramped, small natural cave that goes to the southeast. And then it's not so much a passageway, but just sort of like a 5-foot wide opening in the northeast that sort of opens up into a larger area. And in that area is where you see fire.
Can I shine one of the lights down that really narrow southeastern one?
And is Bracteros effect gone at this point?
No, not yet.
Soon.
Okay, like a turn soon or like 5 turns soon?
He said 2 when we started the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's capitalize on that while we have it, right? So yeah, I think this is a great idea, Ted.
Yeah.
All right, so you shine your light down the southeastern, and it's just completely pitch black. It does not seem to widen out at all. It's so narrow that at some point, you may even have to like go sideways.
So I'm shining the light in. Am I seeing 20, 30 feet of straight, or does it turn and bend?
It goes about 20 feet towards the southeast at a 45-degree angle before it sort of hooks to the south, and then your light sort of can't go around that corner.
Right. Okay. So interesting, but probably not like the spy hole kind of thing that there's a Beastman at the other end watching us enter this room kind of thing.
And what was the floor made out of again? Is it just rock?
Yeah, it's rock and sandy sort of. There's slick. Well, actually, they're a little bit different. There's slick with moisture, and everything is a little bit warmer here. About 10 degrees warmer than outside in the forest. And the floor is muddy sand and gravel.
Are there tracks in the muddy sand and gravel, Ted?
Yeah, Barrios is going to do a little sniffing around on the floor to see if he can get any info. Like, is it just Beastman, or is there someone else living down here too?
Well, you can all easily see that because it's muddy, that there are definitely footprints, and they are all heading into the cave, like the same way that you guys kind of headed in. At a cursory glance, it doesn't seem to be anything other than booted feet. But interestingly enough, the booted feet do go to like the spear haft for one thing, right? And then it's sort of a mess, like a scrum in the middle of the room there, right? But no booted footprints go past the entrance to the northeast cave, to the northeastern part. Like they kind of stop right there. But but then boot prints do actually march towards the southeast and only in that direction and enter into that very, very narrow passageway.
Oh,
That's unexpected.
that's super unexpected and leads me to suspect either all the beastmen went that way, or there may be some kind of secret door situation going on here. You said the boots, there's a sort of scrum in the middle around where the spear is.
Yeah. Sort of like
And
they
then-
were like they were moving around, not like a battle or anything like that, but just sort of like they
Yeah.
were moving around, looking at different places. But then the footprints collectively go into that very, very narrow, tight passageway. Barrios can confirm to you that's something that you wouldn't be able to see with your naked eye. I don't think Barrios would need to roll. It's just that the boot prints are very recent.
I am wearing.
How about- Sorry, David. What?
I said I am still wearing the circlet. Is there anything that pings for me as
Oh, yeah, good idea.
magical or etc.?
No.
Okay.
How about Mort goes invisible and in provision and goes into that corridor 20 feet, looks around to the south to see what he sees. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Elizabeth goes blind.
Thank you, Ted. Yeah, Elizabeth will go blind.
All right. Mort will, yep, he will do that. He will slide in sideways and do a little goblin crawl.
Okay.
And
All right. So just using infravision, you move carefully. You can actually move relatively simply because you're smaller stature. But you move down that 20 feet. You can see that this is all natural, by the way. This natural tight little tunnel basically does like a J hook, or actually I should say a C hook, sort of around, and then kind of heads towards the east for like another 5 feet.
oh, I see. So
It kind of just does like a real tight fish hook sort of thing.
like that.
Yeah, but really tight. So like it basically comes back upon itself like a U. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Like a tight C.
I get it.
Any change in like pitch of the tunnel, John, like down or up?
Not overall, but it's natural, so it kind of has its ups and downs. You know what I mean? But it's relatively the same. Then it heads east for about another 5 feet, Ted, before it goes directly south. Yep.
Okay.
And you can see using your vision that it definitely starts to curve gradually towards the southeast out of your sight after about 10 feet or so.
And do these tunnels look worked, or do they look like they were just made by water, like flowing, or?
They do look natural, like completely natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Prior to, sorry.
well, I just wanted to say that this might be a great hiding place for Beastmen, but I feel like this can't possibly be the main route to an official Arcantian exit on the wall. But anyway, go ahead, David.
I agree, and I mean, tangential to that, I was going to say, who has the rings of friendship currently? I believe you.
Elizabeth and Mort.
Yeah,
Elizabeth Mort.
Elizabeth is currently
I think-
blind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think. Okay. Yes.
Do you need it? Do you want me to come back?
No. I apparently didn't hear you say that you had triggered it before scouting out.
Yes.
I was going to suggest you use it before scouting, but apparently
Yes.
I am
So,
a poor listener. So
At this point,
continue,
so maybe I think I'll come back and describe what I've seen, and then everybody can kind of move along behind me, and I'll stay 30 feet ahead of everybody. How does that sound, guys?
All right. And I'm sorry, deactivate the invisibility, correct?
When I come back?
Well, I'm just wondering, like, is the expectation that Elizabeth continues on blind?
Oh,
You're going to be.
Yes.
Great question. For Elizabeth's sake, I suppose. I'll tell you what, John. As it starts to curve southeast, there, I'll go another 20 feet.
Okay.
And see what I see, and then I might go back.
I think that's good.
Here's what I'll say though. Before we do that, I don't think Elizabeth being blind is a problem. I can walk hand in hand with Elizabeth. I think the bigger risk is us being visible and running into Dano, which I don't think is even an encounter we want to make. Right. We're following them because that we presume that's the exit, but I don't think interacting with Dana will be good for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
if we can avoid it.
Yeah.
Great idea.
So I'm just saying I can walk hand in hand with Elizabeth for any level of scouting we do, because at this point I'm essentially useless aside from that. So like that can be my role. Is all I was going to say.
Right.
So
I'll go
my
another 20
only concern, and I'm sorry, I'll say one more thing, is that if it is an uneven tunnel floor with natural stuff, it's hard for a blind person, even with somebody like leading them along the way, to like do that quietly or without bonking themselves on like weird protrusions or whatever. I don't know. It's entirely up to you guys. It's Matt's NPC.
Look, I'll go another 20 feet, maybe 30. We'll see what I'm seeing. If John says it's like a long corridor, I can come back. We can move everybody in. And then after we've gone 100 feet, I can go visible again while you wait or something like that. I think that we can make this work. So, John, I'll go another 20, perhaps 30 feet, depending on what I see.
Okay, after that amount of time, a turn passes. You have one more turn left on the back terrace effect. All right, so Ted, so it hooks around to, and then there is an intersection where it sort of looks like it's going to curve back around towards the north, but right where it starts to turn back around, there's also another passageway that heads south. Still only about 3 to 5 feet wide in either direction.
Having a little problem here. Yeah. So something like that?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. Now, when you're standing there at that section with that decision point, Ted, your infravision actually pings. Coming from the northern section is a small light that is sort of moving towards you carefully on the ground, and it's very small, and and you can hear off in the darkness, right when your eyes sort of pick it up as it kind of comes around a corner, you hear a meow, meow.
Okay, a cat. Didn't you give a cat to Dano, somebody?
No, that was the Goblin King.
You gave the Goblin King a cat. Okay. Why is there a cat here?
And then you actually see like the light, the light kind of come around the corner, and you can confirm that it definitely appears to be the shape of a small cat, like a cute little cat.
Hey, Ted.
Yo.
Could be shapeshifted.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. And I'm wondering how much trouble I'll get in for murdering a cat that turned out to just be a cat.
We don't advocate, by the way, the slaughter of small innocent pets. Just not
an official stance of 3D6 down the line. Has the cat appeared to notice me or smell me or anything?
Yeah, it's kind of coming towards you very carefully, tentatively. I'm just waiting to see what you're doing.
Command word.
Yeah, I've got a sword and shield out, and I'm just gonna watch this cat. I don't like this at all.
He comes up to you, and he's mewing, and he comes right up to your armored leg and does a big old bump into it, and arches his back and goes up against you.
Okay.
Tail sort of wraps around your shin.
I will whisper, "Good kitty, go away, shoot, go, scat."
You give your leg a little shake. It kind of bounces off, and it turns back around in the direction it came, and then plants its butt down on the ground, like about 5 feet away, and just sort of watches you. Just meow.
Why is there a cat here?
You should ask it if it's really. Are you really a cat? Roll onto your tummy if you are, or roll onto your back if you're not really a cat.
Did we see cats in the Beastman village before?
We didn't even see cat-headed people. So,
All right. I got a great idea. Okay, I'm going to sheath my sword and attempt to gently pick up the cat.
Okay. It allows you to pick it up.
I will scratch behind the ears till it's a good cat, and I'm going to go back to the crew.
and don't bring that thing here.
Elizabeth can talk to animals, and we might find out everything we need to know.
Okay. Best case scenario, it gives us fleas. Worst case scenarios, it turns into like some sort of like fire breathing monster and destroys us.
I know, but I just feel like I should share this experience with you if that's the case.
So you bring the cat back?
I'm going to bring the cat back.
Okay.
And giving it scritches and being nice to it.
Another turn passes, and the Bacteros effect is now over.
Okay.
All
right.
Okay, that puts you squarely at 3 p.m., just so you know.
Okay.
When that occurs, I'm also going to close my locket, John.
You're going to close the locket? Okay. So what light are we talking about right now, then?
Well, Lothar will still have his locket, which is fine.
That's the only locket. That's the only continual light going on right now, right?
Yeah, because I think I'm carrying one up, right?
We had 3.
Who's got them?
Wolford has the other one.
Oh, Wolford has it. Okay.
Wolford's not present, so I'm not counting his lit. So I just figured we only needed one. If Lothar doesn't mind it.
I don't mind it, man. It's my special ability is armor class.
Okay, so walking back into the light, you see Mort carrying a cat, which is not what you expected him to come back with. So you can see in the light. You can see in the light now, actually, because I didn't describe it to Ted because he was using dark vision. That the cat is a void cat. It is like a very, very dark black with bright yellow eyes.
Oh, it's totally a familiar.
Well, do I see anything magical about this cat through the circlet?
Indeed, you do.
Yes.
The cat is enchanted in some way, shape, or form. The cat looks a little bit worse for wear. Like it's definitely dirty, and it looks like it's a little bit malnourished. Like you can see a couple of ribs sticking out.
Sure.
I will feed the cat.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, David. But while he's looking at the cat, I'll get out some tuna from my rations because goblins love tuna, and so I'll give that to the cat.
I'll give it to you.
Damn it! Does Wolford have the Laurel sack?
Barrios has the Laurel sack.
Barrios has it, so you should get something, a nice little sardine from that sack.
You're right.
But
I will get a sardine out of the sack.
I love it. Who's a good kitty? I will ask the group, not John, do we recall if Heliogoblus had a familiar?
Don't recall at all.
Do not recall.
That we ever saw.
I don't remember either.
He also just doesn't seem the type. And if he did, he'd be more like the Quasit imp or bat type.
He didn't.
Sure.
I can just tell you.
He didn't. Okay.
Elizabeth is going to sit down, crisscross applesauce in front of the kitty while it's eating, and cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
It's a level 1 spell. I don't have the SRD in front of me that has druid spells.
I think this is 100% Dan, by the way,
guys. I get the gist of Speak with Animals.
Got it.
This is a witch's. Yeah, this is Dan.
Okay. And Elizabeth will be like, let's see, what accent does Matt do for Elizabeth? Does anyone know?
She's never spoken.
She's never talked, right? This is her first
Southern. All accents that are unknown are Southern accents. All right.
All right. We can have her be from
Boston.
Chicago or worse, Boston. Anyway, she's going to say, okay,
we don't recognize
there,
Boston on the stream. I'm sorry.
No, man. She's a druid hippie. She's got Valley Girl, man. Wow. Like
I can't do that.
She was supposed to be Janice from the Muppet Show.
Right.
I love it.
Wow. Hey there, little kitty.
Wow.
What's your name there, little kitty?
It tells you its name. I have no idea, but it tells you its name.
Steve.
This is like a DM's worst nightmare is Speak with Animals. So tread carefully lest I just shut it all down.
All right. Hey, Steve, it's good to meet you. I'm Elizabeth. Why are you down here? Where did you come from?
My master. Something has happened to my master.
Is your master a wizard?
Yes.
Is your master a two-legged human-looking thing like me?
Yes.
Is your master far away?
No.
Is your master still alive, or does he now smell like food?
Smells like food.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. You're a magical kitty, yeah?
Yes, I am bound to my master.
Okay, even if he's now smells like food.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to take us to where your master is?
Yes.
And do you want us to release you from being bound to your master if he's now food?
I actually misspoke. It's not bound anymore.
Oh, okay. So, okay, cool. All right. So now your former master's that smells like food is close by.
Yes.
Why don't you lead us to him? Are there any monsters between us and your master?
No danger.
No danger. All right. John, I'm not going to torture you with any more animal conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So if that is the case, then we will just let's set off and try and find this wizard's body.
The cat ears are on the way. I've already made the Amazon purchase, John. So get ready.
Oh man.
Okay, so I'm going to say feeding the cat, talking to it took a turn. And you're just going to follow where it leads you?
Yeah.
Well, within reason, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
that's an awfully deep pit full of lava, Cat. Are you sure that's the right way?
No, we can just cut to the chase. So you move through the tight, narrow corridor. You reach the point where Mort met the cat, and it continues to go back the way that the cat came from, which is around that U shape. And so it continues north for about another 20 feet before it opens up into a small little cavern that's relatively cramped and low ceilings. That's only about 10 feet by 5 feet wide. And it appears to dead end right there. And in that cave, you actually see that there is a corpse there, and sort of resting amidst the corpse, like sort of nestled in there, sort of is it looks like they have been feeding on it a little bit, are 3 other cats that don't look to be that are not enchanted, for one thing, Pure, and they're not the same color as Steve, and Steve tells you that these were friends that Steve found in the caves.
So there's cats just living in the caves, huh, Steve?
They came to him, basically, like he was here with his master. Yeah.
Not sure.
The body appears to be the body appears to be a wizard, elven, like pure elven and female. All the remains of her appears to be a wooden staff that is capped with iron, and a leather pouch, which you can see that there is something relatively bulky in there, like a small little pouch.
Okay. Hey, Steve, what happened to your master?
It said he remembers that there were creatures with creatures on 2 legs, but with the heads of animals that cornered his master and killed her.
Oh, that's too bad. John, how long has that body been there? You said it was skeletal, right? Not meaty?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, pretty much. Well, there's still some meat on it, but it's like really old. Like it's been there for a long time.
Enough to tell that it was elven and it was female. And
yeah, correct.
Okay, cool. And where did you guys come from, Steve?
From outside.
Outside, where the sun shines.
Yes.
Okay.
Could you find that again?
If Steve has been lost for some time, so he would need to sort of be set on the correct path. But
gotcha. Okay. All right, and Steve, do you want to come with us? Do you want to go back to the outside?
Yes, very much.
Okay. So follow us, Steve. We'll continue to give you fish, and then until we can find the outside. We think it's close.
You had me at fish.
What about your little friends here? Do they need to come with us too?
If you want.
Up to you, Steve. How much do you like them?
I mean, you can talk to them as well, Elizabeth.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, little kitties. What are your names?
Oh my God.
Nice try. Those 3 cats. Those 3 cats can come with. Cool.
Okay, but they have no names and they do not talk. Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
I do think there's some pertinent information we can get from these kitties who are apparently Dungeness kitties and would undoubtedly have traversed many secret passages and tight spaces in a cave like this. So do you want to inquire about that, Mike?
I would, David, but I would like to point out that Elizabeth is pretty dumb. She's not much smarter than the kitties. So I don't know that she's going to be smart enough to tell.
Like, oh wow!
Are we almost 100 episodes in playing to our intelligence stat?
No.
Like, is this? We're doing embodiment now. Okay, so that's not. No,
I can't do that, dude. I'm not nearly as smart as most of my characters. So anyway, yeah. So John, I will ask the kitties if they know if any of those two legs with animal heads are nearby.
They don't think that they're nearby because they don't smell them, but they did see some pass not too long ago. But they can't give you any frame of reference because there's no marking of time really for them in the dark.
No, I get that.
This is probably something that the LRCP killed a while ago to keep their fungal caverns secure.
They can tell you that the same ones that killed again, it's only the void that's actually sort of like has any sort of frame of for the magic user. That one was not killed by the same beastmen that they saw recently. They were killed.
Okay.
She was killed a long time ago.
What was the master's name, John? Is there a name associated with that wizard or no?
Not really. She had a name, but she's
No, that's fine. I'm just
she's basically like a rando adventurer that met her end gruesomely.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right.
Hey, Iron Circlet of Gonor, is that staff or anything in the pouch pinging as magic? Or anything else about the corpse?
No.
What is with the lack of magical blunt weapons in this game?
Yeah,
is there no spell book on this caster?
No, there isn't.
So
took it, I'm sure. What's in the pouch?
Let's ask Steve if the two legs with the animal heads took their master's spell book.
Yes.
Okay.
But the ones that from long ago.
Mort will pick up the pouch and see what's in it.
There's two gems in there, a beryl and an aquamarine. The beryl's worth 50 gold and the aquamarine is worth 100.
Nice.
Sweet.
All right. Let's lead Steve and the kitties on and continue on.
Yeah. Okay. So Mort will go out in front again in provisioning and carefully treading in the dark. What?
Took a turn to do that stuff in the room. Okay, got it. So you're going to head to the southern passageway, I assume?
Yeah. And to David's point, John, I'll ask Steve if he knows of any like secret passages along here that most people don't find.
Okay. Steve can confirm that in his sort of hunting grounds, they basically subsist on insects down here and things, that there isn't anything that the bipeds, like the 2-footers have ever, missed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But that the paths are windy.
Can Steve warn us if Steve smells something coming or getting close?
I don't know. Do cats have that much better sense of smell than?
I mean, better than ours, I would assume. But I don't. I mean, it's not like a bloodhound or something, probably. But
Steve will do his best.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Right.
So you head south for about 10 feet before it hooks almost directly to the east, and goes east for about 20 feet.
Hold on, I gotta get my pen working here. Okay. So it goes south about 10 feet, hooks directly east, goes about 10 feet.
About 20 feet to the east.
Oh, 20 feet. Sorry.
Yeah, and then hooks almost directly to the south. Okay. Now, when it does, at that point where it kind of hooks to the east, the ground starts to slope upwards. Not steeply, but at a steady pace upwards. And continues that slope upwards as you head towards the south as well for another 20 feet. Okay. By the time it opens up after 20 feet into a rather large cavern, largest you've seen in this sort of like tight network, you would reckon that you're probably about 25 feet up from where you entered the entire cave system back in the fungal forest. Okay. At that point, you open up into a relatively ovoid cavern, still natural. It's about 15 feet east to west at its largest point in the middle, and is approximately about 25 feet north to south. There is a very narrow, tight passageway, similar to what you guys have been traversing, that exits out of this cavern directly to this at the southern end of it. Okay. Yep, you got it, Ted. Let's see. Now, there is obvious signs of the booted footprints sort of like gathering together a little bit. Like there's a little bit of chaos here, and then that they continue onwards towards the south. There's nothing in here. However, nothing on the ground. However, what you can see is that, and again, the ground is sort of muddy gravel. There is a drawing on the eastern wall that flickers in your continual light. Actually, just glows in your continual light. It's a charcoal drawing, crude. You have not entered the chamber yet.
All right. So you say the footprints seem to gather in the room and then continue, like
single
gather
file,
because they were looking at the drawing, gathering because they were setting traps, gathering because
it's impossible to tell. There's just like a mess of muddy footprints. But the only thing that Barrios would be able to tell you, that you guys would probably be able to gather yourself, is that it looks like they would have had to have gone single file in here, right? And then they just waited till everyone got in here, collected themselves at some point, did something.
That makes sense.
And then moved single file outwards again.
John, is there any sign of a campfire or a large sort of impression, like someone sleeping on the ground, like they might have camped here, rather than just staying for a few?
No, there's literally like nothing on the ground except footprints.
Yeah.
And can we see the ceiling?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's
nothing untoward
like
up there.
8 feet high. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Mort will step into the room and he's going to sort of slide along the eastern wall.
Oh, whoa. Bro, they like to leave traps.
I'm aware of that.
Let's do the grappling hook trick again and toss the grappling hook halfway down the room on a rope and then drag it back.
Sure.
Okay. You do that. Nothing
Good
comes
trick.
back except mud and gravel.
Okay, cool. I'm going to ask Steve. Hey, Steve, you ever been in here before?
He has, yes. This is as far as he goes.
This is as far as he goes. And you've seen the two legs with the animal heads in here.
Yes.
Okay. All right, go forth, Mort.
All right. Mort's going to just slide along the wall to go over to the drawing and look at it.
Okay. So when you go over to the drawing, nothing weird happens. You look at it. It's relatively crude, but efficient in conveying its message, at least well, maybe it won't be, depending on how you take what I'm about to describe. So there's two stick figures on the wall. Okay, they're look like one is following the other, and they're sort of facing towards the south, right? Like they're side on, and the forward figure is holding what looks to be a shield, very basic. It's like a circle, forward. While the rear figure, the one that's following, is holding a shield over the forward figure's head. Okay. It looks very much like a very rudimentary depiction of a like tortoise formation that the Roman legions would use,
Okay.
And we did look up. We saw the ceiling, right? We could see that easily in our light.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Is there anything to indicate like maybe over the top of the shield guy going like this? I understand that he's depicting the tortoise thing, but it might also be like a very on the nose look up kind of thing. So I just want to see if there's anything that stick figure might be actually warning about or indicating on the ceiling.
No, it doesn't appear to be. Like it's
Probably
very
not in the
basic, like
room.
literally just like a circle for a head and like lines for the limbs,
Got it.
It'll be down the hall some is my guess. Who has a shield besides Mort? So maybe you and I should sort of do this and reconnoiter ahead.
I'm down. Let's do it.
All right. You'll need to bring light, I guess.
I have the light. Yeah.
Okay. So, I'll go first. The shield up, and you hold the shield over my head and your head as best you can, and we'll tortoise it. What do you want to? let's check out like 20, 30 feet and see what we see.
Yep. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Upior, what are you doing? You want to come or no?
Yeah, I'm just trailing behind. Yeah,
Give us a distance.
I'm not scouting ahead. I am at the very back of the line because I am a squishy 10 HP mage.
All right. So
Well,
with
Barrios will-
Morton Lothar leading, then
Yeah, Barrios will come up, 20 feet behind.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Okay, cool. So you go directly south for about another 15 feet through a narrow passageway. Again, it can only be single file. Before you reach a fork in the road, there is a passageway leading southwest and a passageway leading southeast. Okay, the footprints all go towards the southeast. However, to the southwest, you can, at the very edge of like your vision, like what you're able to sort of assess, is you see a faint, very faint orange glow that is not flickering.
What time? And it's
Like sunlight orange glow?
No,
yeah, like a setting sun.
it would actually remind you of the same glow from the orange mushrooms in the fungal forest.
Oh, fungal orange.
Oh.
All right, and so nothing along the ceiling as we're walking along here. Are we still talking to Steve?
You are, yeah. Actually, another turn goes by.
But Ted, he's never been past that last room.
I was going to ask him about smell.
Okay. Steve, do you smell anything interesting here?
Steve smells mushrooms, and he can smell something dangerous to the southeast. He's not sure, but he can tell you that this is the reason that he doesn't go in that direction, because he's always sensed danger down that way. But that is where the footprints are.
Yeah.
Go.
The footprints go that way. Okay. All righty.
So we assume that the beastmen were looking for the exit. I guess it may not be the case. We may not actually want to follow them, but I don't think that the other one going towards mushrooms is more likely to be the exit either.
Well, why don't John? An enormous waterfall is deafening when you're adjacent to it, which means 50, 100, 500 feet away from it, it is a very audible sound still. If we are, a football field's away from that waterfall, we would hear it, is my point, right? We may be much further than that, but just with that in mind, do we hear or feel a draft? Do we hear any slow rumbling? Is there any sort of environmental contrast both between either of these splits and that we've experienced in the last 10 minutes of traversing southward that might be notable?
You don't hear anything, no.
Interesting.
All right. John, can we take a quick break?
Sure. Yeah, we can take our first break.
Okay.
We will be right back. Okay, we are back. Bladder's empty, beer's full. Ooh. All right, so southwest, there's an orange light. Southeast appears to be danger, but that's where the tracks are. Where do you go?
Let's go southwest. Let's avoid danger for now in favor of exploration.
Okay. So you head southwest. You go for about 20 feet or so before it opens up into a small little crossroads, probably about 10 by 10. At this point, Ted, you're going to have to do some magic, because just about 5 feet directly to the west there is an opening where the orange light is definitely coming from. And it appears like it's a lip that overlooks the fungal caverns.
I have badly drawn this.
You basically want to shift the entire narrow cavern system directly to the west as far as you can in order to make a opening to the fungal caverns.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Well, while he's drawing that, John, if I look out of the aperture of this, is there anything that I see in the caverns below that I could not from the vantage we had prior?
So Yeah, I mean you're looking at it from a different angle. So let me just check, double check I'm not missing anything here. Yeah. Okay. So when you step out onto the lip, Upior, you can see that the mushrooms basically come right up to it, and you see off in the distance, lit, underneath from by the orange patches of mushrooms, you can see the southeastern side of the rock outcropping, sort of looming off up into the distance. Basically, what you can sort of gather from the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay.
Now, immediately though, the rest of you, including you, Upior, you can see that there is a passageway that leads off to the south that appears to be caved in.
All right.
Ted, I think you're going to have to change the borders of the fungal cavern, like up in the area right around where my cursor is, or you got to shift.
Well, John drew those borders, not me, so I don't want to mess them. They're roughly correct, or they're not. John, what do you think?
No, my borders are correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Then just draw a giant dotted line and let's move on.
Yeah. I'll do it that way. That seems reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And John, is the debouche into the fungal cavern is at ground level, correct? It's not like 5 feet up or anything like that, or
no, it is. It's up 25 feet up.
It's up.
Oh, it's up 25 feet. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that part. Okay.
Well, I think we should go to the other tunnel.
I think so too. Can we just take a little bit of time hiding the light and just kind of watch from that area and see if we see any movement in the forest or along the weird cliff with the pillar of evil or anything like that?
You want to take a
Good
turn?
idea.
Yeah, let's take a turn.
So I see if anyone's following us.
Okay, so
That's
you take a
smart,
turn just to kind of lay low and kind of keep a bead on things. You do see some sturges kind of float into view from down above, like hunting. Like once in a while, they kind of dive bomb into the fungal forest, and you hear like a screech coming from it. Every once in a while you do see something pass through the canopy of mushrooms and make them rustle, but because you're sort of looking down on top of the canopy, it's almost impossible to see what's underneath it. At one point though, you do see some mushrooms actually topple over, and you get glimpses of a large scaled figure moving roughly through and passing through. It looks like it was probably lying in wait at some point and then sort of decided to ambush lesser prey by just devastating and moving, bull rushing forward. You seeing things like that, but it all seems like part of the natural ecosystem of the fungal caverns.
Okay, it's not anything on our trail.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Should we backtrack, Ted? Well, you're extremely close.
Yeah, sorry. That's where my tablet is. It's I have to lean over to draw. So, okay, we came down, we went southwest, we came into a little crossroads, you said.
Yeah.
There's to the west, there was an opening into the fungal caverns, but there's something that goes further south out of here?
The south is a cave-in rock fall.
Like caved in, no getting past it, caved in.
No getting past it, right. Without magic or clever thinking.
All right. And the opening into the fungal caverns is what, 5-10 feet wide, you said?
10 feet wide, yeah.
Okay, so let me just try and draw some rocks.
And that rock fall is sort of heads generally towards the southwest.
Okay. There's no on the rocks from there, John. There's no dried lichen or organic matter that looks like it was that was the exit right there, and now the rocks are all tumbled in and we're screwed.
I see what you mean. Naturally, no, that's a good question, but no, yeah.
Well, in the same vein, again, I don't know that we could even discern this, but you guys pitch in. Differentiating between a long ago rockfall and a recent rockfall.
Yeah, that's more of a dwarfy thing.
I know, right? I don't know how I would.
Yeah. Well, if we were outside and getting weathered, we'd probably be able to tell. But here, who knows? But
there's a high possibility. The reason I ask, right, that like the beastmen came through here, caved in their exit, made their way out, and that's that, right? And the other thing doesn't lead out.
There's no indication that any footprints led to this rockfall.
Okay. My next question was going to be: does there any indication that the beastmen are using this as a vantage point or guard post or anything like that?
Oh, smart.
No, there's no indication.
Okay. So I guess we're going to go southeast.
Let's do it.
Okay. So you head. Steve is going to say goodbye to you here.
Oh, okay. Bye, Steve.
He doesn't
Hold
want
on,
to
Steve. I'm a magic user. I'm pretty cute. I'm a tall guy. Does Steve want a new master?
Do they have Find Familiar? Do you have Find Familiar as a spell?
I do not know. But
Okay.
I have lots of goodies in this magic bag that I can bribe Steve with as a spell.
Well, if you want to protect Steve, if you want to like tuck him away somewhere, he can just, until if your goal is to make him a familiar, you don't have that ability right now. If you want to just,
of course,
if you want to just have Steve with you, you can protect him if you want. He's not going to come on his own.
I would like to bring Steve with us because Steve wanted to exit. And I know Steve's
wanted to get
nervous
outside.
now. But what I will do is beg Barrios for a moment and ask that I might reach into the pouch, and I'll bring out a sardine and a bit of a fluffy something and say,
We already pulled a sardine out today. You'll need to get it.
oh, that's true. I'll have a anchovy instead, another fishy thing, and a furry widget, of some sorts.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. The point is, I'm going to gesture because I can't speak to animals to Steve safety, and like offer within my backpack like a spot for him to hang out.
That's fine. Do you want to take the other 3 cats too?
Yeah, we should get them all out.
Of course.
Okay,
I have plenty of slots, so I'll add them to my inventory.
Okay, you tuck the cats away.
We literally have on our inventory right now sack of cats.
Yeah.
I'm adding 4 slots for 3 cats plus Steve on my inventory right now.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to go back to that intersection. Upior and Mort still doing the shield turtle thing, and move southeast.
Okay, so you move for about 40 feet, roughly southeast. After about 30 feet, it sort of bends, so it's like going directly south for the last 10 feet before it opens up into definitely the largest cavern that you've been in since you've entered this sort of system down here. That's a turn goes by, and this cavern is oblong and weird, so I'm just going to make it roughly 30 feet by 20 feet, 30 feet east to west, 20 feet north to south. But again, jagged and weird, and and there is a narrow passageway that leads out of it directly to the south, in the midst of the southern wall. Southern part of it. There appears to be like a protrusion towards the west, and it becomes fairly obvious that protrusion in the west is used to be the lair of something or some things that were or are quite large. They do not appear to be present at this moment, but who knows when they will return, because you just from the smell when you're about to enter into the cavern, you kind of smell that there's something that was recently living here. It's likely that whatever is in here is probably out in the fungal caverns hunting, or in these caverns hunting. Right.
So,
now.
John, my question would be, as someone who has literally charmed a giant lizard and has a very close familiarity with it, knows the smell, knows the touch, etc., is the scent in this place remotely familiar to me?
It's very similar, but okay. I'll telegraph enough for you to, even though there's no real way for you to tell, I would say it's a different species than what you charmed. Okay, but very similar. Okay.
All right. And maybe Barrios does a little tracking check here to see, like, how did we miss these footprints? Where did it go out to hunting?
So it didn't go towards the north.
Aha.
It appears that wherever it goes towards the south, which is a little bit of a wider opening towards the south. Indeed, too, the footprints of the bipeds that you've been following hug the eastern wall, and they do so in a how do I put this? As if they're 2 abreast and 3 deep. Okay.
Tortoise style.
Sure looks like it.
Okay. Maybe we gather everybody together and get 2 abreast and 3 deep with Lothar and Mort in the front.
You do see something glinting over in the lair part, in the western part.
So we want to ride the lightning, baby.
Let's do it.
Ride it.
Yes, right.
I'm going to send Lisbeth over there. Just kidding.
Do it.
Again, I'll remind everyone
that's what retainers are for, bro.
Yes,
I know.
I want to remind everyone that we have decided that is not Matt's retainer. It's the party's retainers, right?
Precisely.
Matt just happens to run her every time.
I know. He just happens to have recruited her, happens to have run her every single session. And so the first session that I'm running her, if I get her killed, I'll never hear the end.
All right, I'll tell you what we'll do.
I mean, I hear you. I hear you to be a bit.
Barrios will put the sack down,
Okay.
take his spear, and carefully avoiding, he's going to be probing the ground with his spear. He'll go over to the glinting.
Okay, cool. Nothing happens. You can see that sort of in the nest of what these creatures were, there are 2 very heavy 10-pound silver ingots that are sitting amidst there. Each of those is worth 500 silver each. So that would be 50 gold each for a total of 100.
Okay, he can bring those back, but if he picks the sack up, he can't carry them.
Well,
without slowing down.
They basically, how many slots do they take up, John?
I assume 1 each.
Yeah, each ingot is a slot. Yeah.
And do we have anything else in the sack right now? I thought we did.
Sack is full.
Fold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
So
well,
somebody has empty slots, they could take them. Otherwise,
I'm pretty sure Lothar does. Let me look real quick. Yes, Lothar has plenty of sack backpack space.
Okay, great. Lothar, they're yours. 2
right.
500 silver piece ingots.
Yes.
Okay.
Then
there.
Barrios will pick up the sack again and proceed in the turtle with the rest of us.
There's more.
Oh.
There is a misshapen stone head of some sort of snake-like creature. All right. The head itself appears to be sort of looks what was likely a bas relief, but broken off roughly.
Nothing familiar to us?
Nothing familiar to you, no. There's also a vial that looks. I'll just give it to you because I know you guys have had these before. It looks to be a potion of flying.
Ooh, that could be very handy.
All right, and a single boot, and the boot is of a supple leather with distinctive workings on it that definitely belie its origin as elven. And both the potion and the boot are enchanted, Upior.
It sounds a lot like these are the remnants of our dead friend. Yes. Can you still talk, Mike, to Steve? No.
You have 1 turn left.
Okay.
Steve, do you want to ask Steve if the boot or any of the gear that we just found seem familiar?
Steve is not familiar with these. His master was not wearing those.
I'm so tempted to put on 1 boot and just see what happens, because why is there 1 boot? Whatever. I'll take
where the other one is.
I'll take my levitate boots off and almost certainly curse myself and regret it. And I'll put the other boot on and see if anything happens.
Nothing happens. It fits very well, but but nothing happens.
Interesting.
Can he take them off?
Yes.
I'll try to take it off.
Yes.
All right. I'll take it off. I'll put my levitate boots back on and I will give the other single back to Lothar.
Okay. Steve goes back to simply meowing at Elizabeth.
No, Steve.
And John gets to breathe a heavy sigh of relief.
Come on, John. I took it easy on you, man.
Okay. It is now 4 p.m. Okay. What do you do?
So obviously we take the potion and the boot. Anybody want to take the stone head?
I have 4
again?
cats on me, so I'm pretty loaded down. But
How much was it worth again?
I don't know if he said.
The what?
The stone head.
The stone head. I don't think it has a value. Does not have a
Oh,
value.
that means it's magical.
No, we don't know if it was magic. By the way, what page number have we got here, John?
That is page 223.
Okay. I say we leave the head prop right in the center of the room to freak the beastmen out when they come back.
Okay.
Okay, great. We do that.
Perfect, Ted. Let's do that. And
Off in the distance to the south, as you are collecting your stuff, you hear a rough, echoing barking sound, like a roar, roar, roar. Sounds like a very large creature bellowing.
And not beastmen barking. Barrios is not like, that's an LRCP call or something.
Nope.
Okay. I think we need to hustle.
yeah, let's get out of here.
What do you do?
To the south, right?
That's where the noise came from, too.
Oh, to the north then.
Retreat?
I think I don't know, guys. I mean, here's the thing. We know all the beastmen have been going down through here. But this feels like not a way to get in and out of the dungeon. It's all like twisty and turny and small and shitty. I don't know. What do you think?
well, I think the primary way to enter and exit is the big set of doors we left behind at that Pantheon.
Yeah.
And in fact, this is maybe a terribly speculative thing to say, but there is a rough U shape within the waterfalls alcove. It kind of like, it goes like this on the outside. And there's a part of me that doesn't wonder if we are sort of like making our way across, you know what I mean? Like it's dug in on the exterior where those two statues and the lake and all that is. That doesn't mean that this isn't an exit. I'm just really struggling to sort of extrapolate what the geography looks like personally. I'm okay with continuing south to conclude what that is, but I think we should do so as one invisible person, Mort. Perhaps silenced if Elizabeth can't cast silence, but you know what Mort could do? Mort could take my levy boots and be invisible and do a little wall climbing all the way down just to sort of scout with any discovery. It'll be slow, but my point is like I think we need to know if south is an exit. I don't know why west would be or east would be.
I think it's worth pointing out that if we've come up in this set of corridors, we would be roughly at the height of those doors. So I feel like we are in that, whatever's on the other side of them, we're in the same plane more or less as that, and we're like in the network. So I feel like this is the end run. This is like we're coming around.
I think it's very plausible. I agree, Ted, and I think it's very plausible that the beastmen have fled to the precipice of the exit without exiting.
Yeah.
And are protecting it from both directions. Now, that doesn't mean we can exit through them without complication, but I don't know, you know.
But we're also, maybe whatever lives in this nest is ahead of us. We might have to fight it.
Well, that's true. Is it a doggy smell in that nest, John? Is it like a...
No, it's kind of lizard, right?
Reptilian, yeah.
Yeah.
Do lizards bark? It sounded like a bark, but that could just be John's voice acting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say you ever
heard like a Komodo dragon like sort of do that sort of
that makes
bark?
sense.
Yeah, that's what it sort of sounds like.
All right. I say we proceed south in the tortoise a little bit, and then Mort can start skipping ahead again. That drawing is probably because of this room. Like reminding the beastmen that to proceed past this point, the banda has to be in its tight formation to fight the beast if they need to, kind of thing.
Do we? Yeah, man.
Let's just go.
Sure.
Okay.
You've thoroughly convinced me this is not the exit now, and we should just go back to the Pantheon and talk to Heliopolis. But
I mean,
well, we're not getting through those doors without the keys, which are probably in our stash. So we'd have to go all the way back to where the rug is to get to our stash and then come back. We might as well go forward.
Yeah. I'm kind of with Ted on that, but I do think that let's just go should be on Mort's tombstone when we have one.
Okay. So is
the first time I did something stupid?
We're going south then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep. I think we should.
Okay, cool. So that barking goes quiet for a little bit as you kind of head carefully to the south. It goes for about 10 feet before it goes directly towards the west. Narrow again for only about 5 feet. Only about 5 feet wide. Going west, it goes west for about 25 feet before you come to a crossroads. At that point, it actually has widened up until it's about 10 feet. Like that crossroads is about 10 feet in all directions. Okay. There is a pathway that goes north, gently sort of curves towards the northeast. And there is a rather wide passageway that is heading towards the southwest at about a 45-degree angle.
There's a passage going northeast, you said?
It goes north, but it sort of curves gently towards the northeast. You can kind of see in your continual light.
Like kind of back towards that cavern we just left.
Yeah, your map is a little screwy, but it is what it is with natural caverns. It looks to you, based upon your, we'll say like your orientation of where you are, that it would likely hook up with the rock fall from the other end of it.
Okay. It is a screwy map. What can I do?
And
all right, and then so we got one going southwest, you said.
Yeah, southwest, and it's at this point that is actually around. It actually is as wide as 10 feet and as narrow as 5 feet, and it goes about south. It goes southwest, at least for 30 feet before it goes off in the darkness.
And these are the only two directions out of this.
Yeah. At that point, you can actually see, you can hear the barking again, and it's definitely coming from the southwest. And you can actually hear the scraping of claws on the ground as something is carefully moving its way.
Okay, so I think this is, I'm going to say it, even though I don't think this is the case, guys, but knowing that there is a witch that could maybe create illusory sounds and stuff like that, there's a possibility that like a means of protection for the beastmen would be Dano making a lizard-like sound, right? I don't think that's what's going on here. I think there's literally a big nasty there, but like just to put it in our minds as a possibility, there's visual and auditory things that Dano could probably execute easily to deter adventurers in their direction, including the one we left way, way, way up at the north of this. I don't know.
Absolutely, David. But here's my big question is how many more uses of the mass charm do you have for the day?
I have one more mass charm for the day.
Okay.
And I also have, but here's the thing. I could also do clairvoyance. And what if the audio
clairvoyance doesn't get us past it? If it is an illusory like sound, you'll still hear it type thing.
Do you want me to just use clairvoyance on Dano?
Yeah, you absolutely. I think you can. Why not?
I'll tell you what you do, David. You get that crazy ring with the assassin thing in it, and you send it after Dano, and we chase the shadow.
Oh,
do we want to? I mean, here's what I'll say. Dano doesn't know how to discern that we are the senders of said assassin, so long as we don't walk into the room afterwards. So yeah. If you want to do that, assassin? I suspect Dana would survive the encounter because there isn't like a bunch of silent monkeys, awaiting. But that's an option.
It was mostly a joke,
I figured. How about using that same logic, Ted, you genius, you.
It's true.
Why don't I tell the invisible stalker to pursue Alexia, who we know is in.
Stay on point.
No, but I'm saying if you want to find the exit, there are several individuals. Wick trimmer. There's several individuals. The bartender, and I mean, there's probably
you don't even know if you can ever do it again. It might have been a one-shot item, for all we know.
Yeah. The other option we have is that if we're not a bunch of weaklings, we might be able to just fight a lizard.
Yeah, let's go. I'm with Ted. Let's go.
I'll just charm it again if you want. If you want to go in there.
All right.
Okay. So
go southwest.
So you go southwest. So it goes for approximately 40 feet southwesterly direction before it sort of evens out and goes directly west. At the point where it starts to go directly west, it actually starts to slope down slightly, but not too far. Just a general light slope.
And going west.
And going west, yeah. Now, you at this point, you can definitely hear something moving its way up, and and it looks like it's taking up like most of the corridor. Like you can hear it scraping against the sides. In addition, the barking starts up again, and the feet, as it's nearing you, and you can sort of see movement right at the edge of your light. As it's moving, the claws scrape against the stone, but one of those 4 claws is definitely like a wet sputch every time it moves.
It's wounded.
So right now it's in darkness. I'm going to say it's about 40 feet away. Is there something you want to do before you see it?
Let me look up the radius of mass charm again, because we should just do that, guys.
John, the light spell still is that thing where if you cast it on a creature and it fails its save, it's blind, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah.
I think so. That's how it works in our old campaign. All right. So I will just be ready to cast light on a creature if it comes into range. Okay. That's all I'm going to do.
I'm going to have Mort and Barrios at the front. Barrios is going to set his spear, and Mort's going to stand beside him and shield up. And yep, that is what that is going to be about.
Okay. Anyone else want to do anything?
No. Ready our shields.
Sorry, I was muted. My range on mass charm is 25 feet. So I will wait roughly until I suspect they're within 20 feet, John, and I'm going to pop mass charm.
Okay. So with the sudden burst of blinding speed, because it looks like it's picked up your scent, the reptile bursts onto the scene. It is it is a very large reptile, about the size of the one that Upior charmed before. Just kind of picture like an overly, like even larger Komodo dragon. Very, very large. The scales are really, really jagged and rough and pointed in a lot of places as well. Like it looks like it's made out of rock almost. And it blends in really, really well with the surrounding area. But it appears like it wasn't attempting to hunt. It looks like it was returning from the hunt because in one of its massive claws, its right front claw, there is just a mash of awfulness that is grasped in it, and it looks like that mash used to be a goblin, and that goblin is very, very squished. Yeah, very, very squished. And it's just been pounding it into the ground every time it moves forward. And it's
tender.
Its long forked tongue kind of comes out and flicks the air, and then it basically charges up the corridor. Now, it is impossible to bypass the reptile. The reptile takes up the entire corridor, at least going on the ground. All right, but it is very much like a ground lying sort of creature. The tunnel's about 8 feet high, just so you know, and it kind of comes at you. I will say at that point that. I think Lothar would be the first one to actually have something occur because it kind of comes into the light at 30 feet Upior's charm goes off at 25, and Mort and Barrios are sort of waiting for it to kind of pop onto their spears. So, Lothar, if you want to try to cast light, you can. Is that the plan?
I do. David, let me try this, because here's the thing. Even if you mass charm it, that doesn't necessarily dissuade it from attacking us, which is the problem that we had the last time.
And if you succeed at that, I can like withhold that charm.
Okay.
So save versus spells for the
first level
monster.
light spell. Yeah, it's first level light spell.
I got it. Yep. Needs a 14 or higher. It fails it. So it is. It rears back. Hisses and barks, and it moves it shakes its head from side to side. And it appears to be at a significant disadvantage because it is now blind. At this point, why don't we roll for initiative? Do you want to declare the mass charm, Upior?
I suppose I'll withhold the mass charm for now, but I could declare another spell cast if that's okay.
Certainly. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to declare spell casting, yes.
Okay, cool. Let's roll for initiative then. Oh, does Elizabeth want to cast? Sorry.
Look at her things. I mean, she probably
convert lizard to duck or something like that.
No, I think she's good, man. She has hold animal, which is useful. But now that it's blind, I think we could probably just lump it up.
Okay, so no. So just
in your back pocket.
All right, I got a 5.
Mike, you should roll because you started the combat with the spell.
I got a 6, John.
6. Okay, cool.
Question: does that light spell count as Lothar's turn?
Nope.
No, but you can't cast another spell because you didn't declare.
Nope. That's fine. I'm going to try and hit it in the face.
All right, so you run up. All right.
Well, I spells go off first, correct?
It's whenever you want. You guys have to discuss your tactics.
Mike, I'm casting haste.
Go ahead, dude.
So I got cast haste.
Do man.
So just make sure.
What does haste do for us, David? These
All
days?
right, it is a 3-turn duration, a range of 240 feet. Up to 24 creatures in a 60-foot diameter are enchanted to be able to move and act twice as quickly as normal. Our movement is doubled. Our attacks, subjects may make double the normal attacks per round. Spells, similarly doubled, and magic devices doubled. So
no, those last two are not doubled.
Oh, sorry, not doubled. Wasn't trying to get one over you, but I did misread it. Yeah, spells and magic devices are not doubled, but everything else is. Correct.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So Lothar, you can. So you guys feel a burst of energy into your feet and your arms. So Lothar, you can actually swing twice.
Nice. I'm very excited about that. I so rarely get to hit things with a stick. All right, so I'm using my mace. I have a +4 to hit, unless it's an undead, in which case it's a +5.
This is an AC 17.
Holy shitballs. Is it taking AC penalty because of the blindness?
Actually, that's a good point. What did I say? -6 is for everything. Yeah, I'll just say that. So,
okay.
So that'll drop it down to an 11.
All right, so I rolled a 12 +4, so that's 16. And then it's going to take 9 points with the first shot.
Okay, cool. What are you attacking with? I'm sorry.
Mace, and I can't remember. Its name is
It means a lot to you, I can tell.
Huh?
It means a lot to you, I can tell.
No, it does. It's called the finisher, John. Don't be that guy. There's a lot of stuff on my character sheet these days. All right. And second attack is going to be a 14 +4. So that'll hit 18. And that time though, it's only 4 points of damage.
Okay, cool. So you definitely crack into it and shatter some bones, but it keeps coming.
All right. Mort will jump in then. And
those are the two.
What is its AC now?
Just so you're aware, Mort, just before you make that decision, there's only 2 people can face that thing abreast. So that would be you and Lothar up front, just so you're aware.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's fair.
What is its AC now?
AC's 11.
11. So I hit with a for the 14 for a whopping 15 points of damage.
Whoa.
Wow.
And I will do it again. Plus, the target must now save versus spell or be slowed by the pin. The second hit delivers 12 points of damage.
Whoa. All right, so the pin, you basically come in from, basically jab it in both eyes really quickly, just thack, thack, and it screams in pain. It looks to be like it's about to drop, but doesn't. And indeed, as well, a lethargy enters its limbs, so it's blind and slow.
Sweet.
It's just me on any random Tuesday.
Does Barrios or Elizabeth want to do anything?
Barrios could throw the black iron spear. No, Scleros' spear, couldn't he?
He could, but he would be in danger of hitting you guys if it misses.
Okay, fine. He will just come and back us up in the event of just tragedy.
Okay.
I mean, Elizabeth has Shrieker. Are we in danger of getting hit by that?
Yep.
Okay, so then nothing. She's fine.
Okay. All right. So bottom of the round is the reptile's turn, and it is going to blindly attack one of you two.
Hey, John,
Real quick before you do that, can I just have Elizabeth use the Ring of Friendly Defense to give Mort an AC bonus?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Smart.
Okay, nice. Smart thinking. Also, is this thing considered size large?
Yes.
Okay, I get an extra 2 AC from that then, too.
Okay, cool. It is going to attack Lothar. Lothar, what is your AC?
Oh, well.
Lothar's armor class is 16, but I'm using a shield. So are we using the shield for blocking, or are we just getting the flat?
Back to the flat.
Back
AC.
to flat, yeah.
Okay, and that's a +1 then, right? Shields are +1?
Yeah.
2.
+1. What's your AC? What's your AC?
17.
Okay. It has a massive penalty to hit. Not actually. It's suffering a -6, but it actually has a decent plus anyways. But and it massively fails. So it just blindly strikes out, and you're able to easily dodge it. It has 2 hit points left, so I'm going to call it right there. And
Okay.
You can easily make that an X reptile. Nicely done.
Let us check its stomach contents for loot.
Guys, we killed something. We
Yay!
killed
Well
something.
done, gents.
Your haste spell is awesomely awesome.
Yeah, that was perfect, David. Well done.
Turn goes by. Speaking of that haste for the battle.
All right. Well, Ted is going to be looting the corpse of the
It's a reptile.
lizard.
It has
I'm
nothing.
going to try and inspect the goblin.
Okay.
Anyone we know?
First of all, you don't even have to waste any time. The reptile is a reptile, therefore it has nothing on it. The goblin.
Stomach.
Uh-huh.
I was looking inside of its stomach to see if it ate someone.
That'll take a turn.
Yeah, that's fine. I cut it open.
Do it.
Okay.
Gross.
Another turn of haste goes by.
John's telegraphing this.
And you find nothing in its stomach.
Okay.
John was telegraphing that, Ted. We're going to have another fight up here. All right. So
The goblin is a mash, so it's very difficult to tell what sort of identity it was or anything like that. Interestingly enough, though, what's left of what it was wearing is not like what you've seen other goblins wearing, which is like rudimentary, crude armor. It appears to be wearing. You could only describe it as gladiatorial armor, sort of like a cool, really exotic, not practical at all. You know what I mean? I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but just picture those gladiators from whenever Conan was in the pit.
that's interesting, guys.
Like escaped from the arena somewhere type of deal.
We know one arena.
Yes, it's the arena. It's the big one. It's the one that charged too much for beer.
Right.
And
Not
parking
like this would be what Imperial goblins would be wearing, sort of thing, right? This is very much the slave pits kind of outfit.
Yeah. Like not practical at all, but more for showmanship. Yeah.
All right.
Guys, keep playing. I got to go tuck my kids in.
Okay.
This is actually a good time. We're actually right at our second break spot, so we can do that if we like. So why don't we do that? And we will be right back. All right, we are back. Bladders empty, beers full. Okay, you were standing over a rock reptile's corpse and what appears to have been a gladiator goblin corpse.
And has he got anything on him besides crappy gladiator armor?
No, he is pulp.
I don't feel the need to offer a decent burial to either of these things. I think we should keep moving.
Okay. So you sort of fought this battle a little bit on the high ground because there's a general slope that's kind of going downwards a little bit. So the western. We'll say the battle happened like where you've sort of ended the map there, Ted. But in generally that western portion goes for 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About 110 feet. More or less directly west. So if you're moving at, yeah, so that'll be another turn. Don't mind me. Yeah.
We mind, John.
Okay. At that point, the haste ends. Okay. At that point, it sort of empties out into again a natural passageway. There is, but it's a very large, like sort of 10 feet wide, quite large. The passageway goes towards the northwest and it goes towards the southeast as well. Interestingly enough, you can hear the chattering of worried goblins towards the southeast. And you can also
continue straight as well?
Huh?
Is this continuing straight as well?
No, it's just going in either one of those directions. And let's see. Yeah, that's basically it. You can also see that towards the. So when you look in the direction of where the chattering goblins are coming from, you can see that it goes 30 feet and goes off into darkness that you can't see. Towards the northwest, you don't hear anything, but you do see after about 10 feet, it actually opens up into a very large cavern that is dominated by a massive boulder that's directly in the center of it. And the boulder. So the cavern is actually quite large here. After about 10 feet, it goes about 25 feet high, and the boulder itself is about 15 feet high. So it really dominates that, and it basically dominates the center of that cavern. You have not stepped into it yet, but you can easily see that when you just sort of look towards the right. You know what I mean?
Can we get a sense of how big that cavern is so I can map it?
Yeah, it's approximately 40 feet wide by 30 feet. So 40 feet east to west by 30 feet north to south. Very, very rough again. And the entire middle of it is dominated by this very large boulder. So you can't see what the egresses are, if there are any, on the other side of that boulder. So that little dot you have there, Ted, is like that make it take up almost the entire thing. There's basically like a 5 foot wide passageway around the boulder. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like really big.
John, the boulder, is there like a hole in the ceiling that corresponds from like where a boulder would fall, or does it look like it's something that fell into the room, or is it something that was built, the room is built around? Like boulders don't just appear.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So it looks like it is of the same rock as the cavern, but it's probably been here for some time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, you're not really that close to it, but
okay. And where do we hear the goblins coming from? From this room?
From the southeast.
I'm voting. Like we can probably talk our way through the goblins, but why do it? Let's go northwest.
Because I don't think northwest is the direction we need to go.
I don't think we need to go into a room full of goblins.
Yeah, we're getting mired, man. I don't know.
I think we could talk our way past the goblins. I'm not overly worried about it.
All right.
You're a goblin.
You are Mortis J. Gubliano.
It's true, I am. All right. Fine.
Okay. So you head down towards the southeast. You can immediately smell like unwashed bodies. And on top of that, you can also smell what's definitely something rotting as well coming from there. Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, Lothar, your light at this point is almost definitely the reason why all noise in the southeast suddenly gets real quiet.
Ted, why don't you say something in Goblin?
I will step forward a little bit ahead of everybody, raise up my hand, and say in Goblin, in the Goblin idiom version of whatever hail and well met would be. Probably something like
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, you dark lurking little shits.
Yeah, baby.
All right, so you hear breathe, sighs of relief, and come forward.
And I will step forward until I can see them.
Okay, cool. When you do so, they kind of huddle back against what appears to be the back of a natural cavern. So it basically dead ends after about another 10 feet there, Ted. And they're sort of huddled back there. It's a little bit wider than the width of the corridor, but they don't have a lot of room. There also
like
appears to
big cavern. It's just kind of a rounded end of the tunnel.
Exactly. Yeah.
I see.
There's also a very narrow little side tunnel that branches off directly to the west there. And you can definitely tell that the rotting stench is coming from there. All of these goblins, and there are 3 of them, are decked out in crazy, unique gladiator armor. Like they've got like the big pot helm and, like with the big grill, and weird loincloths and sandaled feet and all that kind of stuff, and they look like they've been messed up. Like they've, like one has, so the leader introduces himself as Bellringer. He is the one that's wearing like a helm over his face that you can't even really see his face. You just see like his beady little eyes. And he is leaning over what appears to be a goblin that one of its like legs is definitely going in the wrong direction. That little guy is like just whimpering. And there's like blood everywhere. And there's that awful stench coming in. They said, have you come from the king to save us?
Somebody.
Why? Yes, we have.
What the just? Okay, sorry. I just had a massive thing happen to my map, and I don't know why.
You have to put that aside for now and focus on your compatriot here.
Well, it was pretty bad. Oh my God. Maybe I didn't do it. The map just got completely hosed. All right. So Mort, of course, is wearing the mask of Toresis and has a magic shield, a magic sword, and looks pretty totally kick-ass and awesome. And he says, I have not come from the king. Do you mean King Wiskinum?
Yes. We do his bidding. We do his bidding down here, but we were waylaid by beastmen. Those cursed things.
I seek the beastmen. Do you know?
They are our enemy, friend. They are our enemies. We do not truck with beastmen. You know this. King Wiskinum has declared it.
There was
Surely,
an
I
alliance.
agree, Upior says.
There was an alliance between Goblin and Beastmen. I brokered it myself.
They laugh like,
An alliance? You've got to be. No, that would never happen.
I draw my sword. Do you call me a liar?
Whoa. No.
I am.
No, let's not get
Mortis
hasty here.
J. Gobliano.
You have the advantage here. You wouldn't take advantage of us in this situation, would you?
You called me a liar to my face.
But it is a wild claim. A wild claim, friend.
You've not heard of me.
Should we
You've
have?
been that down here for a while. Yes. I am close colleague and compatriot of the king. I broker alliances. I am his ambassador to the Beastmen.
So you say. Easy to say. Down here in the dark, in the depths. We are champions of the arena. We have been tasked because of our victory to find the king's lost brother, Gribble.
Oh, Gribble. That bastard.
But those cursed beastmen. Are you calling us liars that the beastmen attacked us?
No, they are capricious and strange. But there has been an alliance. I swear it to you. However, the Beastmen have suffered terrible losses lately, and they are feeling probably quite cautious. Did they do this to you?
Oh, yeah, we're looking just great here, as you can see.
Did they do this to you, or was it the lizard?
They did this to us.
Really? What about the lizard we just killed that had a mushed up goblin in one hand?
We heard it passing through. Yes, we huddled here. Thankfully, it did not sense us.
It took one of your number. He's dressed as you are.
He did not return, did he? I can't remember his name now. But he was out scouting.
Steve.
yes.
Steve's
Please
the
help
captain.
us. Return us to the king, and he will reward you greatly. Maybe he even will make you ambassador.
Man, I'm always having to return goblins to that king. He keeps losing goblins. It's nuts.
Let's just bring them with us, man. It'll be easier to magic carpet them back than it will be to like walk them back up there.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. If you follow us and obey orders, you will be returned to the king.
Very well.
If you break faith with me,
Mort's such a fascist, y'all.
We must
If you
go
break-
towards the east, though. Do not go past the boulder. They lair atop the boulder.
the beastmen do.
Yes. They watch all egresses. They
Oh,
guard
that
they
is
guard the
very
hematite
good.
doors.
Hematite doors.
Oh,
So-
we should be getting close to the hematite doors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know where the exit to the outside world is?
Exit? No.
To the cliff face?
Are we close to the cliff face? To the cursed sun?
Oh. Yeah, I think so, but I was hoping you'd know where to get there.
Well, as you know, friend Goblin, we would never go towards the sun. Back
Oh,
towards
I
the
do.
east, yes.
Wait, I thought the exit out of here went to the west, John.
Hmm?
The exit out of here, I thought, went to the west.
He's talking about back to where we came, Ted.
Yeah.
Oh, back to where we came. Yeah, well, we're not going that way.
Oh, that's where we want to go.
And you're on your own. You want to come with me, you go my way.
We curse your name, Mortis. The king will hear about this.
Write it down. Take a memo. I don't care.
I just offered to get you back. I didn't say I would do it your way. Yes, you have to do it my way. Which is it going to be?
The beastmen are there. Can you handle those beastmen?
Of course I can handle the beastmen.
We're very charming.
I am the ambassador to the beastmen. I keep telling you. You don't listen so good.
Wild stories.
I'm gonna
Have
make a
you heard
roll.
of the
I don't know.
AV
I don't know if they would trust you.
What don't we have any tokens from the king? I thought he gave us something at some point.
John, is there an apparent leader to all of them? Is
Yeah,
that
bell
who
ringer.
Mort-
That's
Yeah,
the one I'm talking
Bellringer.
I'm going to cast Charm Person on Bellringer.
Oh, dude. Don't you think he's
Okay.
charm person or the mass charm?
Charm Person.
Oh, okay. Phew. I was gonna say save the mass charm for the beastmen in case we need that.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
Sure.
I don't actually have anything written down about a token from the king. I gave
You know what
something
I'm remembering, dude, that he gave us a ring to show the
Yeah.
beastmen, and then they exchanged.
Trino has it.
rings. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we don't have any of that anymore.
I think, Mortis, you should step aside and let the big, strong one talk.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. What do you think? You look like you are wise and would never
Visually,
lie
I'm
to me.
I duck under whatever like the cliff face is and sort of give my full posture and I say, my strong, beautiful, I might say, compatriots. Mortis, though he is a bit, we can all agree, and I'll kind of wink at them, crude, right? Is
So-
not telling a falsehood. We do indeed know the king and have, though you have been here for a while, bartered a strange and surreal, and personally, I didn't like it very much, peace with these beasts, monsters. I will say this, though we may not want to keep that peace long, it behooves us to be a collective in the meanwhile, so that we might get our advantage when the time comes, you know?
I agree.
Says Bellringer. The other two goblins, well, the one that can move, I guess. The other one's got a broken leg. That one looks at Upior, and you can see like he gets super creeped out and moves over more towards Mort.
Like, Mort, I'm with you. I don't know what happened to Bellringer.
follow me and you'll be fine.
Hey, John, that guy
Yeah.
with the broken leg, would a cure wounds like get him back up and running?
Not in. You could probably. I would let him walk in like a much slower pace, but he would slow all of you down.
And what about that one scroll that I have that we never really knit bones? It specifically is knit bones.
Yeah, that would work.
Guys, that's a 4th level spell. Do we waste it on a rando goblin?
No. He's too weak to travel, and I have to kill him.
Wow.
And now I see that my video is getting screwed up, guys. I'm gonna drop out and come right back in.
Okay.
That's fine to me.
So what do you do?
Okay. You know what, John? I'm just gonna go ahead and use it on these guys.
Okay, cool. So you pull out this. So wipe off that scroll. You use the spell. It's just you and me right now, Mike. You cast Knit Bones, and he screams in pain, but you can actually hear like the bones like reform, and then like a look of wonder kind of overcomes him. So this is actually kind of works out nice. Each of you has a goblin who loves you. Lothar, you have the formerly broken leg. Mort has the skeeved out one that didn't like Upior, and Upior has the has Bellringer, the leader. Basically, as
Ted
your
rules through fear, David rules through magic, I rule through love.
exactly. Yeah. Amazing. All right, but eventually, the end result is that they do agree to go with you, but they are not convinced that you can handle the beastmen.
Okay.
But taking Bellringer's lead, who's charmed by Upior, they're willing to follow.
I'm gonna start initiating my goblin into the power of Odin, the messaging of Odin.
Immediately starts proselytizing. Okay, so that conversation took a turn. What do you do?
So those
why
beastmen.
don't we have Mort go invisible and go scout out the beastman area?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
and
so
I'm
you hang
even
back.
curious about borrowing the boots, maybe, and floating up to the top of the boulder to see if I can't see from ground floor what's up there.
How about?
Will the boots fit me?
Yeah, they'll fit you.
Okay. I feel like Puss in Boots in those giant floppy boots that he wears. All right. So Mort will put on the boots, go invisible, go into the boulder room, and lift up to see what's at the top of the boulder.
Okay, cool. So you float up invisibly. Let me just read a thing here real quick. Okay. So, so interesting. So you in this room and you kind of raise up until you're about 15 feet high so you can get a bead. Now, what is interesting is that the top of the boulder is basically flat. All right. And on top of that boulder is an entire bandon of beastmen of varying head types. They look like they know what they're doing. Right now, they are on guard, and they've got guards posted at all of the directions, and they are looking in all directions. There is they have a standard that they've planted into the rock. It's a black field with a mailed fist holding a torch. That is the standard of the LRCP, and they look like they are cleaning their weapons after having just finished battling someone. There are 6 of them. It's quite easy to see who the leader is, the sergeant, because you've dealt with the the insignia and the ranks and all that sort of stuff before. And that is a rat-headed sergeant. Okay. In addition, there are the ashes of a cooking fire are there, some battered iron pots and cauldrons, and there is a small patch of 4-foot tall mushrooms as well. Those mushrooms are have white heavy caps with brown stems and yellow ribs. You have seen them in some of like more of the undergrowth of the fungal forest because they're 4 feet tall, so they're a little bit smaller than the other ones. There's a small patch of those as well, and they're all armed now, and very wary. Like if the rest of you guys should just sort of walk in, they're immediately going to see you. Right now, from that vantage point, you can see across the boulder. Okay, so to the west, there are 2 egresses, both about 10 feet wide, natural. One is heading basically westward, and one is basically heading southwards. Now, north of the boulder, though, there is a wide opening that opens up into a worked space, and there are columns that march down in pairs towards the black hematite doors. Okay, and those doors have the glyphs on them. They're closed, the glowing purple glyphs.
Interesting.
Okay. It looks, pavers of white marble, huge slabs of white marble, 5 by 5 on the ground. And there are 6 slim, 4 feet in diameter, natural stone pillars that extend up to the ceiling. Yeah.
So, okay. So if from this room, there's a corridor back to the southeast that I just came through.
Yep.
There's a corridor heading west.
Yep.
And there's a opening from the room. How wide to the north?
It's about 30 feet wide. And there's also a passageway to the south as well. And both of those passages are about 10 feet wide.
Oh, the passage to the south is different from the one I came through.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sort of like in the southwestern section of this large room that you're in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not able to draw this because the map is completely gonked on me right now. I don't know what's going on with Miro. 6 guys sitting on top, very wary. Okay, I'm going to float back down and sneak out and go report back to everyone. And that is very interesting.
Okay, that takes a turn.
To the hematite door. So I was right. These corridors are definitely the sort of way to get around not being able to go through the doors.
Right.
And also suggests that going through the doors was the original exit.
Right.
You'd come in off the cliff. You'd enter through this room with the white pavers. You would open the doors, and there would be a figure in the throne and on the temple thing.
Speaking of which, Ted, since you're speculating, you'd be able to see this. The footprints in the ground. All right.
Yeah.
You've actually been following those. I should have been mentioning that as you've been going. So your general path that you've all been traveling along, the footprints go in that direction that you've been following. Okay. They do not go into the goblins area down there, that dead end.
Yeah.
They bypass it entirely. They go up to the boulder. Some of them actually move around the boulder to the north. Okay. Some of them actually move around the boulder to the south, like around the southern end, and go into the southern passageway. Okay. But none of them go on to the paved structure that leads to the hematite doors. Okay. And none of them go towards in the western passageway as well. So they either approach the boulder or
they go south.
Or they go south. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think I should go back in invisibly and go see what's in the south. Is that okay, guys?
Sure.
Okay. Mort will go invisible again. And if it's okay to keep the boots for now, I will. And so I'll sneak past these guys. I want to see down the southern corridor.
Okay. Do you want to basically follow the footprints if there's a decision point?
I'm following the footprints, yeah.
Okay. So it goes roughly for about 20 feet to the south before it hits a fork. There is a passageway that goes to the southwest and a passageway that goes east and starts and basically immediately loops around to the south. The footprints go eastward. Okay.
Okay.
You keep going?
I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay. You move around, and it goes for about 30 feet southward before it opens up into a little like 10 foot by 10 foot sort of open space. And you can see that actually, let me check. Okay. You see in this little opening that there is the remnants of 2 beastmen corpses that look like they have been fed upon recently. Okay. You probably would have smelled them before you actually entered into here. Okay.
Yeah.
At this point, Mort, even though you're looking at these beastmen corpses, you can see that the passageway still continues a little bit towards the southwest. At that point, you swear to God that you can hear something massive rumbling to the south, like a huge thunderous rumbling.
Ooh, like a waterfall.
Like a waterfall from the south.
Yeah,
And the corridor is going south.
it's going like southwesterly. Yeah, yeah, and the yeah.
And do I see
Turn
footprints
goes by.
continuing?
Sorry, don't mind me. Or was that Ted? Don't pay.
I can see the footprints continuing.
The footprints continue in the southwesterly direction. Yeah.
And there's something that fed on corpses. I'm going to float. How high is the ceiling here?
About 8 feet.
Oh, that's not much of a float. I'm going to head back. I think we need to not be separating the party any further. I'm going to head back.
Okay.
I've got what I need, I think.
Takes you another
I
turn to
believe in you
get.
more.
Takes you another turn to get back. It is now 5:10.
What'd you say, David?
I just said I believe in you.
Oh, thank you. So I'll come back and get past the beastman again and come back and explain to everybody what's going on. And we have to decide what we want to do. Is it diplomacy or war or sneaking? Mass charm, for example, on a band on a rock. Go up there invisibly and just start slaying beastmen. Or do we announce ourselves and hope that the alliance still stands?
I think we at least start talking to them and have the mass charm ready for if they get frisky, right?
Yeah.
'Cause if these guys don't know that Dano is gone yet, that's the sticking point. Do we tell them what happened in the Beastman thing, or do we assume that they know about it, or
No.
one way or the other? Here's the thing. If we pretend that nothing is wrong and they know that something's wrong, then we look like assholes, right? And if we...
Oh, no. We'd never have gotten this far past all the Beastmen. We have to... They know. They have to know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they have to know.
How
I say we
many
take
are in
the
a band,
approach
though?
of...
6.
What, David?
6.
6.
Yeah, 6 up there. I say we take the approach of hey, is anybody there? It's the AV club. We've come looking for you. We saw everybody was slain in your headquarters and we followed the footprints. We didn't know what happened.
Okay,
That kind of thing.
let's do it.
For what it's
All
worth,
right.
I forget as a spell, but it will only apply to 4 people. So
Okay.
As long as we get the leader.
They forget if they're dead too. So we've got that going for us.
Okay, so is everyone moving up there?
Well, I think if Mort comes up, to where he's not quite in arrow shot, but he can shout at them. He will say, hail to the LRCP. Is anyone there?
You hear bows drawn tight, and you see step into the cavern.
Peace, brothers. It is Mortis J. Gabliano of the AV Club.
The
May I
AV
approach
Club.
in peace.
You found your way here. Step into the light.
We've been seeking you. Okay, Mort will step into the light.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of step into the large cavern there. You see that they're all carrying torches now, and they're sort of leaning over and looking at you. And you see them whisper to each other. It's Mort. It's the one they talked about. Yes, we met him. Yes. And you do actually. So when you, I should have told you this when you were actually flying up, Mort. When you look at this bandit in particular of the LRCP, this was the bandit that was relaxing in their quarters back in the compound.
So I recognize them.
Yeah, you would recognize this particular
Yeah.
one. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's you. We met some days ago. Scleros showed us around.
Yes. Yeah, it's wondrous that you are here. Are your companions here as well?
They are behind me. I bear grave news, my brothers.
We know of the news.
You do. Good.
Do you speak of the stalking creature that lay waste to the halls and sent
do.
Dano into hiding?
I do. And
oh yes,
worse.
we know. That's why we're here. We're here to.
And worse, the creature. It must have been cursed. Some of your brothers began to raise from the dead.
That is horrible. Come to the north side. There are footholds. Come up.
Okay. Now,
Should the rest of us go in at this point, Ted, or no?
my companions, they come with me, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should join.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go around to the north side of the boulder.
Okay, so two things. You do you bring the goblins?
Oh, yeah, I am bringing the goblins, but I will just, I'll say something. Brothers, you should know there are with us some goblins that have requested asylum to be returned to King Wiskenham.
They attacked us. You should show them no mercy.
I believe you. And were not aware of an alliance between our two peoples. So I have chosen for the time to give them the benefit of the doubt and hope that we can convince them that alliance is true and they will repent of their violent ways.
They will leave their weapons below, and you will vouch for their behavior.
I agree. And I will turn to the three goblins and tell them to divest themselves of their weapons on pain of death.
They sort of like move their torches around too and they're looking.
Who is that I see hiding behind you there?
You have about a split second to decide what to do with Barrios.
Just tell him the truth, Ted. We rescued him from the Goblin King, and he's sworn service to us.
Yes, yeah, I'll have to do that. Okay, brothers, there's more news. I bear. You have seen another of our comrades who was once one of yours, and he has sworn service to us. I recognize this may be difficult for both of you. This is Barrios.
The deserter.
He has sworn oath to me and my friends. Please give him safe passage. Whatever bad blood existed previously is washed away with his oath.
He will remain below.
That is the most grace we will show that traitor.
He may not come up on the boulder, you
He
mean?
may not come up. Or
Agreed.
He will be met by the end of our blades.
That is fair.
Barrows is like, that's cool.
John, I will stay down there with Barrios and the goblins. I don't think the goblins should go up either.
No.
I'll exert my charm to suggest that all hang out with me.
Yeah, they're cool with that. Yeah.
I will go up on the boulder.
So Upior and Mort are going up, and Lisbeth?
Elizabeth and Mort.
And Upior.
Well, I think he just he said he wants to stay with the goblins, and so does
Staying
Lothar.
with the goblins. I'm exerting my charm to hang out with the goblins to the side. Sorry.
Okay. If you want to be up there, Upior, the goblins will obey you. They're not going to make a move. If you want to be up there, that's up to you.
You should go up there too, David, because if you need to mass charm them, you need to mass charm them.
Yeah, it's true. Come on up.
All right, sure, I'll come up.
Okay.
Oh, my boys, I've missed you so much.
Okay, so you go up there and you see that they've got like a really good looking camp up there. Like they really know what they're doing. And you recognize the leader, the red-headed one. His name is Skylax, Scylax. Maybe that's Celax. And their bandon is informally known as the Cliff Divers. Is what they're sort of known as.
Relax. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember when you all imprisoned me and I made a flight in great nudity? But it was a mistake. We didn't understand our situation. I'm so glad we're friends now. But do you recall?
Oh,
All
that's
is
right.
forgiven,
That's
of
where we got
course.
Upior. Yeah.
We made the mistake too of introducing you to the game with absolutely zero equipment, so we feel bad for that.
Oh, I was quite comfortable in the buff. I am, as always, a man of the cycle of life and death, and none of us, the lot of us, have anything on us in that hollowed. I don't know. I'm going with this.
What?
Anyway, all right, yeah.
So, brothers,
Yes.
I gather you are in dire straits hiding here in the tunnels, or does Dano survive and your men are well?
The news you bring is devastating, but not unexpected. I wouldn't say that we're in dire straits, but now that we are a people without a people, that puts our situation in flux, shall we say. We are without our mother. We do not know what happened to her. The last we saw of her in that final battle in her chambers when we came to defend her was we saw that she took the form of a tiny mouse and she skittered away to the northeast. We have had no signs of her since then. We feel that she is either in hiding or that she has abandoned us. She may actually think that there are none of us. She may actually think that there are none of us left. In the meantime, we retreated into the Fungal Caverns after Dano left and we knew all was lost. Now we search for Taltos. Taltos the Natty, our commander of the LRCP. We've looked along all the known paths in the caverns, have not been able to find him. We wandered the forest for a bit, but we got lost and we decided to eventually to make for the back door.
Well, it is that very thing that we seek ourselves. We're hoping to get to the outside, avoiding the dragon.
Yes, the dragon does have an interest in beastman flesh in particular, for some reason.
Yeah.
Our hope is, and the reason that we had the back door here, is that it rarely hunts on the cliff face itself.
That's my hope, too.
We know that in weeks past that one bandit was sent outwards along the cliff face. We were hoping that we could await their return here and join up again and decide what to do. If we could maybe perhaps reclaim the compound. Do you say the compound is entirely lost at this point?
Well, hard to say. We went through it and cleaned some of it out of the undead. We may have missed some. I'm sorry to say that I myself had to put Scleros down as he began to change.
Ah, not Scleros, no. That is ill news. We had hoped that one of the commanders was still left alive.
We found no one living.
Taltos is still alive.
Tell-
Guys, can I just ask this question? Are we, because we know the Goblin King is planning on taking over that compound as soon as he can,
Yeah.
right? Like, do
Just
we,
I was about to
what do we
tell
tell
them
them?
that
Okay.
I think what we should say is that, if they can't take it back soon, it's probably lost. The goblins will move in.
The alliance,
Although
will
they're
not
avoiding
hold.
it for now, because this is what I think we should say. I haven't said anything yet, John.
Okay.
The goblins for now are afraid of the undead, but they'll eventually overcome their fear.
I think we're giving too much information. These are
They're allies.
yes, but they're allies for what, 2 days, Ted? like let's not mistake a tentative agreement for a long-term one. The goblins are the only allies that we have that are supplying us with any sort of assets, any value, any safety, right? I'm not suggesting we betray the Beastmen. I'm going to say that they have no information about what has occurred in their former home. Because again, the amount of time that's passed is so minute. If all you said was it is overrun with undead to the extent of that no man could survive, all you're doing is preventing them to intercede and discover that we have betrayed the agreement with the Goblin Beastman Alliance. If you instead say, well, we killed the undead and the goblins might get there, but you should get there sooner if you want to keep it, what you're instigating is a conflict that fundamentally undermines the alliance we just made. You'd be better off using their ignorance against them and saying, it's so impenetrable that you won't be able to get in anytime soon. Find like rest, regroup, etc. And in a month, do it. Not literally, but you get my point, right? Like
I do.
Let's use the time we have.
I take what you're saying about unintentionally pitting them against the goblins even further. However,
Sure.
I also don't want to do or say something that
Is a lie.
a lie, or a week later they're like, you fucked us over kind of thing. So
Yeah,
what
no.
about, go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say that, kind of merging your 2 points there.
Yeah.
If we just kind of like lie by omission, right, and prevent them from going back there, we're actually saving their lives. We're going to save their lives, because the Goblin King will not be afraid of like 10 or 6 beastmen, but he is a lot afraid of undead, right? So I would just say, I would just like lie by omission and just say, hey, a bunch of undead rose. We made our way through the Fungal Caverns, and just leave it at that.
Well, I hear you. All I'll say is like, I don't want a sticky widget for us as like a moral rubric to be lying versus truthfulness.
It's not moral, David. It's like losing their trust later on. If we get caught in a lie.
If I told them right now, just hypothetically, there is a like giant witch with an army of undead in that place, and they took 3 days to get there and didn't find the witch, they have no way of discerning that we lied to them about the witch. That's my point. Like we're projecting an omniscience that is predicated upon like a like almost like a divine order of truth versus lie.
Sure.
They don't have any information. Anything we tell them is truth. And if they encounter a non-truth or something that competes with the truth we give them, as long as the truth we give them isn't something really awful, there's no way for them to know we lied. Right. So the only reason I say that is just to say that like we shouldn't assume that I'm not. We shouldn't be like, oh well, we're setting up ourselves up for failure.
I want to be clear. I want to be clear too.
Dead horse.
I want to be clear too that the knowledge that they have is they were present during the scouring. Like when that happened, they were there. Yeah. They witnessed the final battle. They attempted to protect Dano. It was only, but the news of like them rising as undead was all new to them because they immediately beat a retreat. So the last they've ever seen at the compound was the actual battle, right? Just so you're aware, that's the knowledge they have. So they did have a key piece of knowledge, which you guys picked up on, was that they saw what happened to Dano, right?
100%, and something we should keep in mind because she went northeast as a mouse towards the chasm, which is something we should really pocket.
Yeah, she's either in the chasm or she's hiding out in those offices and tombs we found over there.
Or she's even in the troll market by now because she's had plenty of time to move around.
So our time is almost up here. So I'm just gonna I don't want to rush the negotiations, but I'm gonna kind of give you sort of like this is what they want. Okay, first of all, this is sort of what you've been discussing. They want to know news of the status of the compound right now, which is what you're actively deciding on how to answer that right now. They want to know if you know anything about Dano's status. Have you encountered her, or have you encountered anyone who has seen her? They want to know if you know anything about Taltos's possible location or any of the rest of the LRCP. You do have that information. You haven't told them yet. Okay. And because that was David's little side jaunt in the beginning of the Fungal Cavern journey. And they also are waiting for news of the bandit that went outside, but they know that you know nothing about that. They do tell you that they are, because they know you and they consider the alliance still to be active, although they're smart enough to realize that if everyone's dead, that's probably null and void. But they have no reason to distrust you. That they are willing to escort you to the back door, which they explain to you is very, very nearby.
Cool.
All right. Well, what I was going to suggest we tell them, guys, is then taking. I mean, because David has some fair points, but and we might get some information out of them if we say, the compound is overrun, and they asked like, could they? I think they asked, could they go back, right? And we could say, what are your numbers? It is overrun with undead. We killed some. It's still dangerous. I don't know how dangerous it is for you. What are your numbers?
Yeah. That's smart. All right, let's talk about that.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Well-
Okay. So, do you want to kind of voice it that way? Like, well, how strong do you think you are? Yeah. Okay. So they and you have no reason to think that they're being deceitful. They tell you that the LRCP is 4 Bandon strong. Okay. So that means that the LRCP is roughly about 24 people. Okay. Headed by Taltos. Right. Those Banda are all in different places. Right. They were all assigned differently. They were the ones that were assigned to guard the compound, like to guard the Fungal Caverns, right? So that's why they were there at that time, and you met them, right? One Bandon is lost.
Right, we know about that.
Okay, yeah.
They've been asking us about the lost Bandon for a while.
Yeah, the lost Bandon. Taltos brought a Bandon in search of that lost Bandon. Okay. Taltos's Bandon now is also lost, according to this Bandon, right? Although Upior again has a fair idea what, at least possibly in which direction they headed. The third Bandon exited out the back door to go for foraging and supplies out in the open, and the fourth one is the one you're talking to right now. Okay, so that's the Bandon.
Okay.
So they all told if they can get together, which is this Bandon's primary objective right now, they would be 24 strong. And they are 24 LRCP strong, which is a different level of strong.
Right.
So they think that they could probably reclaim the compound against any sizable force that decided to inhabit it. But you think that there is a measure of pride in there.
Here's what I will put into that, which is part of the reason I was sort of prying into this conversation. They have no idea that Nephi baby is dead.
It's gone.
And Nephi wiped their entire force out. Regardless of the undead conversation, regardless of the goblin conversation, in the same way that I suggested we don't immediately go to the Goblin King and say, yeah, we cleared this all out, Nephi's gone, et cetera, et cetera. We have an actionable leverage via the fear of an invisible terror.
Yeah.
Right. And no number that they might have will be equivalent to the terror that they experience. And that doesn't mean that I want to take advantage of them. What I'm saying is the only way for us to have time to make our own decisions on our own terms is not to immediately tell them, oh, yeah, we killed Nephi and the goblins are going to get there. Or, in other words, every other small white lie is less effective than the big white lie, which is that the thing that killed everyone is still on the loose.
Right.
And there's no way for them to validate otherwise because it was literally invisible, y'all. Right? So we should just support the concept of Neferet still being alive because there's no way for them to call us a liar in that. And it gives us the opportunity in a day, in a week, etc., to support whatever form of reorganization we want. There's no reason for us to proffer any information otherwise. Is all I'm getting at. That's my pitch.
No, I hear
we
you.
should talk about this in the detox.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, so do we want to leave it? This is actually, you want to leave it here and pick up negotiations and the discussion next time?
I would like to.
Yeah.
Ted doesn't love it. I love you, Ted.
Okay. So let's do that. We can discuss further in the detox, and maybe you guys can hammer it out what you want to do. Okay.
Awesome.
That will do it. That will also do it for 2024. So thank you everyone for watching this entire year and for years past as well. If you're watching this far in the future, this means nothing to you once again. But this has been episode 94 of 3D6 Down the Line, the most criminally underwatched actual play series on the internet. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell icon to get notifications every time we publish content. And if you have the wherewithal, hook us up with a Patreon subscription. You get a few extra bennies. Maybe check out our publication, Feats of Exploration, help any of your old school games. And thank you as always to all of our wonderful supporters, our explorers, delvers, and our conquerors. Mike, take it away with who those wonderful people are tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our conquerors this week are Isaac Spencer, James Boyle, Stephen BKK, Doc Jones 73. I just got to ask, is there any time for love, Dr. Jones? Snords, John Hooker, Kayla Ripley Wolf, Zachary Hall, Saps, Papa Bear, Zach Shiflett, Mercury 605, Ruben D. Collar, Dave Rosser Jr., Andrew, Dakota Nielsen, Cam, Stephen Quisenberry, Brad and Aiden, John and La Logan, Kabrowskis, Magic Meat Machine, Tom Leary, Phil, Jeff Tokach, G Tokyo Time, Nick, Terry Barney, Eric Lawson, Mando NZ, Faisal, Ted Gast, James Doig, Nefarious Gamer, Grunt, Andrew Schroker, MM, Michael Schilling, Stefano Di Maiolo, Ash Gabrielle, the Hex Brawler Twins, Summon Toast, Dungeon Heart Adam, Scott Yearsley, Mech Jack, Kick Maniac, Dire Grew, Tom Eric Garrettson, not Matt, but not least, Matt Mason, Matt Gardner, Matt Koenig, and Matt Young. And just a real quick shout out for anyone who might be going out to Genghis Khan, which is coming up in Denver in February. I'm going to be there. So hit me up on the Discord and let me know if you're going to be there. And we could hang out a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see all of us in March at GaryCon. We'll be talking about that more in the months to come. Again, if you're watching this far future, means nothing to you. But thanks as always to all of our supporters for your continued support through all of 2024. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you all next year. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.